From space, Earth's blue hue reveals its defining feature: water. Covering over 70% of the surface, water shapes continents, climates, and life itself. It carves canyons, nourishes rainforests, and powers life with unstoppable force, and sustains every living thing from microbes to whales. Life began in the oceans, and every cell on Earth depends on water to survive. Our rituals, cities, and civilizations have always formed around water's presence. Rivers like the Nile and Indus gave rise to agriculture, trade, and culture. Water inspires our art, beliefs, and sense of wonder. Yet, despite its abundance, usable water is rare. Over 97% is saltwater, 2% is locked in ice, less than 1% is fresh, liquid water, our true lifeline. This tiny fraction supports all of humanity and most terrestrial life. Our survival, progress, and future depend on protecting this fragile resource. The illusion of abundance hides a stark reality: water is finite. As our needs grow, the pressure on this precious supply intensifies. The story of water is one of beauty, necessity, and urgent responsibility. It is the jewel of our planet, one we must cherish and defend. The fate of life on Earth is tied to how we value and manage water. Our blue marble's most precious jewel is also its most vulnerable. The world's fresh water supply, already scarce, is under unprecedented strain. Rivers dry up, lakes shrink, and millions face daily water shortages. Population growth and industrial demand are outpacing nature's ability to replenish. Climate change brings harsher droughts and unpredictable floods, disrupting the water cycle. For many, water scarcity is a daily struggle, not a distant threat. Women and children walk miles for water. Cities ration supplies. Farmers watch crops fail. Livelihoods vanish, and hunger spread. Water is becoming a source of conflict, from local disputes to international standoffs. The question of who gets water is now a critical global issue. As scarcity grows, so does the risk of instability and displacement. Water is no longer just a resource. It's a matter of survival and peace. Our choices today will determine whether water remains a source of life or becomes a cause of crisis. The time to act is now. Across the globe, rivers that once sustained civilizations are drying up. The Colorado and Yellow rivers, lifelines for millions, now often fail to reach the sea. Empty riverbeds and shrinking lakes are stark warnings of overuse and mismanagement. Ecosystems collapse as fish disappear and riverbanks turn barren. Communities lose their livelihoods, traditions, and sense of place. Lake Chad has shrunk by 90%. The Dead Sea recedes each year. Reservoirs like Hoover Dam reveal pale bathtub rings of lost water. Agriculture, the largest water consumer, suffers as irrigation systems falter. Fields turn brown, crops fail, and food insecurity rises. The ripple effects reach far beyond farmers. Food prices soar and unrest grows. Our food security is inseparable from the health of our rivers and lakes. The vanishing rivers are a warning. Our water savings account is nearly empty. Without urgent change, the world's great waterways may become memories. Protecting rivers is not just about nature. It's about our future. The time to restore balance is running out. For millions, water is not a tap away, it's a daily, exhausting journey. In rural Africa and South Asia, women and children walk miles for every drop. The burden is heavy, physically and socially, robbing girls of education and families of opportunity. The water they collect is often unsafe, leading to deadly diseases. The choice risks dehydration or illness. Waterborne diseases claim millions of lives, especially children's. As local sources dry up, tensions rise and conflicts erupt over dwindling wells. The daily quest for water traps communities in poverty and limits progress. Social bonds fray as competition replaces cooperation at water points. The cycle of hardship repeats generation after generation. Clean water is not just a need, it's a right and a foundation for development. Breaking the cycle requires investment, innovation, and justice. Every step for water is a step away from opportunity. The world's most basic resource should not be its greatest burden. The long walk for life must end. The water crisis is not just rural, it's urban, and it's here. Cities like Cape Town and Chennai have faced day zero, when taps nearly ran dry. Modern infrastructure masks a fragile reality. Urban water depends on distant, dwindling sources. When supply falters, rationing, queues, and black markets emerge overnight. Hospitals, schools, and businesses grind to a halt. Daily life is upended. The crisis exposes deep inequalities. Wealthy residents buy water while the poor go without. Informal settlements suffer first and most, facing public health emergencies. Indigenous communities lose ancestral waters to urban and industrial demands. Their fight for water is a fight for rights, culture, and survival. The urban water crisis is a matter of justice, not just supply. Cities must rethink how they value, use, and share water. The struggle for water is a struggle for dignity and equity. Our future cities depend on sustainable, inclusive solutions. The concrete drought is a warning. No one is immune. The escalating water crisis is a direct consequence of powerful forces reshaping our planet. One of the most significant drivers is the relentless growth of our human family. In the last century alone, the world's population has more than quadrupled, and it continues to climb. Each new person adds to the collective demand for drinking water. More people mean a greater need for food, which requires vast amounts of water for agriculture. More people also mean a greater demand for energy, for housing, and for consumer goods, placing an ever-increasing strain on our finite freshwater supplies. This demographic pressure is relentlessly pushing our planet's water systems to their absolute limit. Overlaying these human pressures is the profound and undeniable impact of climate change. Regions that were once temperate are now experiencing prolonged and severe droughts, turning fertile lands into dust bowls. Meanwhile, other parts of the world are being battered by more intense and frequent floods. The world's glaciers and snowpacks, which act as giant frozen reservoirs, are melting at an unprecedented speed, threatening this vital source of fresh water. The crisis we face is about water quality. Our rivers and lakes are treated as dumping grounds for waste. Industrial facilities discharge heavy metals and chemicals, often untreated, into our waterways. This poisons aquatic life and poses a long-term threat to human health. Agriculture is also a major polluter. Runoff fuels algae growth, consuming oxygen and creating dead zones. This compromises food and freshwater sources. Cities contribute to contamination. Untreated sewage releases harmful bacteria and pathogens. Stormwater runoff adds another layer of contamination. We are making water unfit to drink. People are forced to use unsafe water. This is an assault on the environment and the human right to clean water. A subtle yet important reason behind the growing water crisis is the shifting perception of water itself. For millennia, water was seen as a common good, a sacred gift, and a fundamental human right, managed for the benefit of all. However, in recent decades, a new narrative has taken hold. The idea of water as a commodity, an asset like oil or gold, managed by private corporations for profit. This shift has consequences for who gets water and at what price. This has led to the privatization of municipal water systems in cities around the world. Critics argue that treating water as a product prioritizes the ability to pay over basic human need. This debate turns water into a new frontier for political and economic battles. Should a resource that no one can live without be subject to the whims of supply and demand? The answers will define our future relationship with our most precious resource. As water becomes scarce, it inevitably becomes a source of conflict. Disputes often begin at the local level, turning neighbors into rivals. When a well runs dry due to drought, cooperation breaks down. Tensions rise as families worry about securing enough water. Scarcity erupts into open hostility. This pattern repeats globally. Upstream farmers divert water, devastating those downstream. Disputes escalate, sometimes leading to violence. Challenges magnify when different groups draw from the same limited source. Each sector has a claim: agriculture, urban centers, and industries. When there's not enough, fierce competition ensues. This fuels social unrest and injustice. These conflicts are about power, equity, and governance failure. Without effective institutions, shortages become crises. This challenges our ability to cooperate in the face of a shared threat. When a river flows across a political boundary, it becomes a strategic asset. Over 260 river basins are shared by multiple countries, providing water to 40% of the global population. These transboundary waters, including the Nile, Mekong, and Tigris-Euphrates, are lifelines for entire nations. Upstream actions can impact neighbors downstream, like building dams for hydroelectric power or diverting water for irrigation. The Nile River Basin exemplifies this delicate balance. Egypt depends on the Nile's waters, sustaining its civilization for millennia. Ethiopia's Grand Renaissance Dam aims to generate electricity. Egypt and Sudan fear reduced water supply. threatening agriculture and security. The Mekong River faces pressure from dam building, threatening fisheries and agriculture. Open conflict over water is rare. Instead, there's political tension and hydropolitical struggles. As climate change increases water scarcity, these tensions could escalate into serious crises. In the face of growing scarcity and injustice, a powerful global movement is rising. From cities to remote villages, people are demanding fair access to water. This is a fight for a human right. Cochabamba, Bolivia, became a global symbol of resistance when citizens rose up against water privatization in what became known as the Cochabamba Water War. Indigenous communities are often at the forefront, protecting water and sacred lands. The Standing Rock Sioux tribe's protest against the Dakota Access Pipeline drew international attention. These protests are acts of democratic accountability, demanding transparency and policies that prioritize human needs over profit. It's a call for a future where everyone has access to clean, safe water. Amidst warnings of a thirsty planet, a hopeful revolution is taking root. Driven by ingenuity and cooperation, communities are embracing innovative ways to live in harmony with the water cycle. They are planting the seeds of a new water future, where scarcity gives way to sustainability. This is a tapestry of local actions and collective efforts offering a powerful vision of hope. Farmers are moving away from wasteful flood irrigation and adopting precise techniques like drip irrigation. In other regions, farmers are rediscovering drought-resistant crops and embracing practices like mulching to improve soil's moisture retention. The age-old practice of rainwater harvesting is being reimagined. Communities are building check dams to capture monsoon rains. This shift is supported by community leaders and local organizations championing these solutions. These local champions are the architects of the Blue Revolution, weaving individual actions into a collective movement towards a secure water future. The quest for a sustainable water future is about making the most of the water we already have through conservation. Every drop saved is one less taken from struggling sources. This principle is taking hold in homes, industries, and cities, sparking innovation focused on efficiency. Water is a precious resource to be cherished and used wisely, empowering every individual to become part of the solution. Fixing leaks and installing efficient appliances drastically reduces consumption. Industries are realizing water efficiency is good for the planet and business. They're investing in technologies to recycle and reuse water, creating closed-loop systems. Cities are tackling water loss from aging infrastructure. Municipalities are investing in smart technology to detect leaks for faster repairs. Upgrading water infrastructure is effective for conserving water. Facing unprecedented water challenges, humanity is turning to scientific innovation. Scientists and engineers are unlocking new freshwater sources and finding better ways to manage resources. Their labs are developing solutions that were once science fiction. From turning oceans into drinking water to purifying wastewater, technology offers powerful tools. Desalination costs have fallen dramatically thanks to breakthroughs in membrane technology. New plants are rising along arid coastlines, providing climate-independent fresh water. Science is also revolutionizing water reuse. Advanced purification can treat wastewater to drinking standards. Cities are demonstrating that it is a safe and essential strategy for a circular water economy. Furthermore, technology is giving us unprecedented ability to monitor and manage water resources with precision. We have journeyed across a world grappling with a profound challenge, a crisis that touches every aspect of our lives. The story of water is a tale of scarcity, inequality, and conflict. Yet humanity has resilience, ingenuity, and the capacity for profound change when we act together with a common purpose. The path forward is a rich mosaic of solutions, woven together from innovation, conservation, and cooperation. It requires us to embrace our shared responsibility as stewards of this planet. When we see children drinking clean water without fear of disease, we see the tangible results of this choice. This is the hopeful future that is within our reach, a future where water is once again a source of life and health for all. The global water crisis presents humanity with a fundamental choice. We stand at a critical crossroads. The path we follow will determine the fate of generations. One path leads to division and conflict over water. The other, to collaboration and shared stewardship, recognizing water as a sacred trust. This requires a circular water economy where every drop is valued and reused. Access to clean, safe water is a fundamental human right. We need bold policies, investment in smart technologies, and a cultural shift towards conservation. The choice is ours, in our homes, communities, and nations. Water is life. Our future depends on it. Will we be divided by scarcity or united by our shared need? Let us be the generation that secured clean, safe water for all time.